Hi guys, so welcome to the engine room, and today we are going to give the engine a little bit of a service. So we have with us today, let's have a look what we've got. So we've got lots of engine oil. We've got a nice bowl there to catch some engine oil in. Ignore my little rag. We've got some new pads to put on the floor of the engine bay to collect all the old engine oil. We have with us a new air filter. We also have, let's have a look what else we got. We have a new, which one's this? I'll tell you which one this is. I can't actually tell you because it's one. It's either a fuel filter or I think it's an oil filter. Yeah, and this is oil, air, fuel. Then this is the fuel filter. So that's the oil filter, and this will be the diesel filter. Yeah, excellent. So we've got 3 filters to replace today. I've got some brand new oil and a little bit of diesel, and that's just to top up that filter before we put it back on. That's how simple it is. So next job we've got to do is get these floorboards up so we can access the engine. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to turn the camera off while I do it because basically the camera's resting on one of the floorboards. So I will do that now. Of course, as I'm starting to do this now, we're not seeing any boats all day, and now all of a sudden I start to do this. It's now like Piccadilly Circus. It looks like everything. It's quite a popular mooring spot, this, and everyone's mooring up by the look of it. But that's fine. Oh, look, we've got the horn as well now, but that's fine. So yeah, cracking on. I'm going to lift these floorboards up. I'll be back with you in a second. There we go guys, that's the floorboards up. So now we can get to the gubbins of the engine. Right guys, I'm in the engine bay. So as you can see, I've got the floors off. And I'm actually stood right on the bottom of the boat. So, a bit of gearbox, prop shaft leading out to the back of the boat. And we've got down here, let's have a look what we've got down here. So we've got the red one there, that is the fuel filter. And then there should be a black one. So sorry, tell a lie. So we've got a red one here, which is the oil filter. And then we've got the black one here, which is the fuel filter. So, and they both need to be changed today. And of course, in here is the air filter. Easiest job to do. We'll just do that last, just throw it in, dead easy. So the first thing we've got to do is get the oil out, and I'll show you how we do that. Hold on one sec. So this is how we get the oil out. So down here, I'll get it shoved in, hold on. So this is a pump, and obviously because it's not like a car where we can get underneath and get access to the sump, we have to pump the fuel out, the oil out, sorry, using this pump. So the first thing I've got to do is turn this switch here, and then that should, yeah, see, that should free the pump off. So what we do is we get 5 litre drum. This is one, the empty one I had from last time. Hold on a minute, I'm having to hold the camera because there's absolutely nowhere to put the tripod. So as you can imagine, So this is where the old oil's going to go, and we're going to start pumping it out any second. I've just got to find a way to put camera on tripod. So one sec. So I've got the tripod very precariously. But it's dead simple. We just start pumping out. Now in theory, it should take about 5 litres out, so I should pretty much in essence fill this jug. We'll get to the gubbins of it now. Cool, and as we can see, we've got 3.5, 4.5, nearly 4.5 litres out. So there's probably still a tiny little bit left in the sump. Can't do much about that. And there'll be a bit in the oil filter, but we'll sort that now. Cool around that. So the next thing we're going to try and do, we are going to do it, is put the new fuel filter in. Now I'm going to struggle to video this because it is ultimately really tricky to get down to. So I've got my new filter ready. What I will be doing is I will be filling it with fresh oil, but because the fuel filter goes on that way, you fill it up with oil and you tip it up to put it on, and as you tip it up it all tips out. The same thing is going to be said for when I try and take the old filter off. It's tipped up and there is going to be fuel in it, oil in it, and it is going to tip out. But luckily I have a bowl to catch it. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get the camera down at an angle to show you. I'll try. But what you need is trusty filter clamp, which help you get hold of the filter and twist it, because obviously it's made of very shiny metal, and once you get a bit of oil on it and stuff, you're just not going to get hold of it. It's unget-holdable. Unget-holdable. So we are going to try and do that now. So I'm going to try and set the camera up and see whether I can get you a view in it, but I'm going to have to sort of like step out the engine, down the step, lean in and do all the gubbins. Let's see how it looks. Fat bloke in engine bay. So right, I'm coming in now. I'm going to get my clamp and hopefully I'm going to get it on. Oh, not if I do it like that. Like this. You see it there? There you go, we're on now. So you don't ever put the oil filter on mega tight. But of course, now I've got to get in, and obviously I'm not the most agile bloke in the world. So basically, I've got to get in, I've got to get this twisted off as fast as I can, get it straight into the... There you go, straight into the thing. There you go. Simple as that. And there ain't too much oil coming out because obviously I pumped all the oil out, so that's nice. So I'll just get a bit of a wipe. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Get some tissue. Just have a little wipe there. You see it's just dripping out now. See that central thing that's going into the end. So I'll have a little wipe. And then we'll start prepping the new filter. So I'm going to prep the new filter now, so I'm going to get my fresh jug of oil. Pull that up like so. There you go. Undo the cap. Like so. Now, of course, I've got to fill this fuel filter with fresh oil. And I've also got to lubricate the seal. Can't actually see what I'm doing, can you? You will be in a sec. Hold on. We're just going to tip fresh oil there you go. What we need So just tip fresh oil into the filter, and what we need to do is we need to lubricate the rubber seal. Yeah, so we need to get some oil and we need to lubricate it round. I'm just going to get some more oil, tip it into the filter. There she goes. I need to get some of this oil with my finger onto this rubber seal, and you just rub it round with said finger. Yeah. Because obviously this filter is made of the thinnest aluminium that you've probably seen in your life, and before the clamp came along, the only way to really get these filters off was stick a screwdriver through it and start twisting it. But of course what used to happen is threads used to get left on. Right, so I'm happy with that now. I'll just tip a little bit more oil into it. There you go. So, happy with that now. Pretty much the same reverse. I'm now going to get this on quickly before oil starts dripping everywhere. So I'll try and position the camera so you can see my inept attempts at doing that. So put that there for a second. So here goes nothing. So it'll be fairly quick and start twisting. There you go, she's stuck. Twist it quick as, there you go, she's stuck. Lovely, lovely. Now when we're tightening it up, you literally don't want to drop your clamp down into the engine bay. So that means you're going to do a long stretch to the bottom. But I've got it. So yeah, when you're tightening up, you're literally hand tightening it. Come on. There you go. That is the business. So that is the oil filter changed. Happy days. The fuel filter is slightly easier because it is pointing downwards. What's difficult about the fuel filters is obviously all the wires and cables around it. But these things are sent to triers. But before we do that, we're going to whack the oil in the top now, get the sump refilled. So we are literally now going to refill the sump back up. So the oil filter's been filled up and it's sort of like probably 75% filled already. So now we are going to fill up the sump. So sump cap off. Homemade funnel is an XY bean, I think, but it's good because it actually fits. Bang on the money. Money, money, money. Then we get the rest of the oil, and we've got what? Just 4 3/4 litres. And I reckon it'll take all of this. I don't reckon, I know it'll take all of it, so here we go. And then we just very gently I'll let that settle, and then I will just check the dip just for the sake of it, just to make sure it's going in and down. Make sure it's not going anywhere it shouldn't. Oh, can't find the hole. There you go. Yeah, we'll just see it's right on the bottom of the dipstick. Of course, top mark, bottom mark. Oh, somewhere around the middle. So it's going to take the rest of that. That jug, and that's fine. And that's what we bought it for. Couple of minutes. So of course I'll save this carton now for the next oil change, and this is where the oil will go in the next one. So folks, that is the oil done. Set that cap back on. Ooh. Again, just hand tight, don't need to go mad with it. I'll have a quick check of the dip, make sure we're happy with that. Down she goes, a couple of seconds, and then let's bring it up, let's see what it's on. Oh yeah, it's just over halfway. It's like, yeah, brilliant. I'm happy with that. We'll have that all day long. We'll have that all day long. Okay, now the next thing, while we're up in this position, is we'll do the air filter. And that is quite simple. Is you just unclip these clips, and they're like pretty difficult to do. Unclip the clips. Lift the lid off. Yeah. Grab your new filter. This is the easiest part with the job. I wish it was all this easy. Looks a little bit of a different filter, this, to be honest with you, but I'm going to go with that. It's ND460. Box down there for a sec. So pull out that one, grab the new one, slight different design, but not dissimilar. Yeah, it's exactly the same. It's just dead easy. It's just, that's it. Now it's changing the air filter. You can see only particles on there that it's been collecting over the last 250 hours, or 265 in my case. And then the hardest part of changing the air filter is getting this back on. I'll just give it a little wipe before we put it back on. There you go. get the first clip in, that's no problem. And it's every other clip after. There you go. Job's easy. And then the final job will be putting the fuel filter on. So again, that is just very much like the oil filter. We'll fill it up virtually the top with diesel. We'll lubricate the rubber washer, and then we'll just twist it on in place. Job's easy. So again, I'm just getting some spare diesel that I carry around with me. And I purely carry this around with me in reality, it's just to do servicing. There isn't enough here to actually get me out of trouble if I ran out of diesel. Although these canisters have got me out of trouble running out of diesel, as my daughter will tell you. Actually not far from where we're moored now. So, same scenario, I'm just going to fill up as you can see there how the diesel has a red dye to it, and that's because it's red diesel. This is not legal to be used on the road in your car, and if Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs catch you, they will not be happy bunnies. There's no difference between normal diesel and red apart from the dye that's in it. So I put white diesel in this engine. Like I say, when I ran out of fuel, basically I sent my daughter to the shop to buy some diesel, the garage. Of course, you can only buy white diesel from a garage. So this has been treated in its lifetime to some posh diesel, if you like. But there you go, that will go back there, ready for the next change. And that is it. So now I've got to reposition the camera so you can all see my clufty little stumpy hands getting together on that, and we'll go from there. Now this, in theory, should be one of the easier filter to do, but the reality is it isn't, because A, you can't get to it, and B, it's all fastening it. Can't get a grip on it because that bloody wire's in the way, which means I've got to get up and around it. Oh, look at that. There we go. It's going. Oh yeah. You've got to be careful because these are actually the fuel lines. Get the bloody thing out. Oh, come on. What are you doing? That's it. That way first. That way first. Right, you ready for this? I will try and capture some of it, but the reality is it's going to be nigh impossible. That was hard work. That was hard work. His hair's covered in red diesel. Well, that's no problem. I've got to tighten that up now. The same problem is getting the wrench back on, but remember how we did it last time, from the bottom and up. There we go. Oh, sugar bums. Doesn't help that you drop the do you know how lucky I was then? I dropped the jug with all the old fluids in and it fell on its bottom and landed upright. How lucky am I? Right, so let's get this bugger tightened back up. There you go, there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. Right, to me to you, here we go. Oh, here we go. So I did, while you were not looking off camera, lubricate the seal. There you go, nice. Oh, look at that easy. It was that easy before. A little bit more of a tighten now. Here we go. Everyone's a winner. Let's have a bit of a wipe up. Now, there are on the engine bay floor diesel mats for collecting spillages like I've just done. But the engine is going to sniff a bit for a couple of days now, probably, while all this burns off it. But like I said, it's not the first time, and no doubt it won't be the last time. I'll wipe as much as I can off. But that is your Lotsky. So guys, I appreciate that's probably one of the most amateurish mini services on an Arrowboat engine you've ever seen in your life. But that's how I do it. I'm not saying that's the way to do it, and I've no doubt a time-served mechanic would be laughing his nads off at me now. But ultimately I don't care, because I've changed my filters, I've changed my oil, and any mechanic will tell you what's the one thing, if you're going to do anything to an engine, what's the one thing you should do? Change the oil. I've done that, and I'm good for another 250 hours now. So happy days. So I'm going to get right down into the engine now and change my drip mats for some new ones. I'm not going to film it because it would just be too awkward to get the camera in position. So yeah, this is me, covered in diesel, covered in oil, signing off to go and wash my hands because they stink. If you've got sensitive hands, it's probably best to use a barrier cream or some surgical glovery type things. But I'm pretty sort of like, oh, let's go and change the engine oil. No real thought to it, just go and do it. And then halfway through I think, could have done with some little gloves or something there. So try and be a bit more prepared than I am. But that's it, that's me signing off. See you later boys and girls, have a good time.